was dancing to the music.
Yeah, I love that music as well. Welcome, everybody. Tonight we have got Christine with us, and we've got our beautiful Sherry joining me and my co-pilot tonight, Mystical Love and Light. Tonight we have got Christine with us, and we have an
I hear
echo.
echo.
Yeah, I don't know where the echo's coming from.
I don't have anything else on.
Yeah, don't know what it is.
That's all right. Could have been my computer.
Maybe the
Oh,
echo's on.
Is it stopped now?
yeah, it stopped now.
Yep,
So we know.
it's my computer.
Yes, we know.
Yeah.
We were supposed to have Brie on tonight as well, guys, but because it is Saturday night here and I get mixed up because Scotland is typically 9 hours behind Australia. So whenever I'm arranging anything with anybody in Australia, I always think that I'm the one ahead, whereas I forget that Australia's actually in front of us. So there was a bit of a mix up. So poor Brie, we're going to talk to her on Monday night our time. And Christina Gale. That'll be interesting. So tonight we've got and Christine's going to tell us a bit about all the different spooky things that she's seen and experienced. Is there anything you want to say while we're here, guys? Just to start off while everybody gets in.
Hello, guys.
Welcome, Diabolical Deborah.
Hi, Phoenix. Tina.
Welcome in, everybody. I can't type, so I'll just holler every now and then. Hello.
Is it coming in and out? I'm maybe need to turn off.
I can hear you fine, but you froze
Yeah, what's
up.
She gone.
She disappeared. She might be going on her phone again if she keeps freezing. Sometimes if she keeps freezing up, she goes on her phone. Sherry, were you going to say something? Sherry's muted.
I was just going to say that I'm really interested to hear about all of the things that you guys are going to talk about and your experiences.
Well, I was wondering myself.
Always been really intrigued with prisons and stuff like that. So get a lot
Yeah,
of horror stories.
Drew says she's coming in on her phone.
Yeah. Her computer, for some reason, or tablet, whatever it is, always seems to like freeze.
Mhm. Yeah, she always tries it, hoping for the best, but it always freezes up for her. She thought for a while it was because her router was too far away, but I think she got that fixed, but it was still doing that. There she is, kinda, sorta.
Yeah,
I'm back.
We figured that's what you were doing.
I don't know why my computer will not support a stream these days. I honestly don't understand it. It just will not support a live stream. Anyway, I'm back, guys. I'm back. So, what was you going to say, Sherry? Sorry. What was you going to say?
I was just saying that I'm really looking forward to hearing them talk about the prisons and things like that. I think it's really interesting, them sort of investigations. I've always watched it from Most Haunted's point of view, or Ghost Adventures, and it really isn't the same. So it's nice to hear it from real live people that have experienced it full hand. So should be good.
So, where were you want to talk about, Christine? I was interested in what you were trying to tell me on Twitter. Where's the place you were saying about?
I've done tours in the old Melbourne jail, which where Ned Kelly was hung, which is a famous outlaw bushranger from Australia. They had a lot of hangings. They still have the gallows there. Even now, it's 3 stories high, and you can just go on tour in it.
Right.
You just walk around freely. You don't have to have a guide or anything. So I've been there. And I used to live near Pentridge.
Right.
Which is one that was being spoken about on Drew One's live chat.
Right, that's right.
And that's the one that now they've taken away most of because it was made from bluestone. They've taken away a lot of the outside walls. Not all of
Right.
them. They've taken away a lot of them. They've still got the front fascia because that's heritage listed.
Right.
And whoop, hang on, phone's falling down. But they've built normal housing. It's residential now.
Oh.
But they've still got some of the old blocks in there as well. So I think I'm not sure if Jika is still there, but there's a couple of the actual cell blocks still there that you can
Right.
have tours through. Um, I actually went and did a bit of research last night. They've said they've taken all the graves away, but they didn't.
Right.
They
Right.
took majority of them, but they took all the headstones away, but some of the graves are still there and have been built on top of.
Wow, that's just asking for trouble, though, isn't it? Any time
Yeah.
that they do that, they're asking for trouble.
And there's been so much violence in there. So many people were killed in Pentridge by other
Right.
inmates. Before it was demolished, they allowed investigations in there. They allowed tours in there, and you'd go into some of the rooms, and there was just blood still splattered on walls.
Wow.
There was writing everywhere. You could feel it was just such a different environment. As soon as you walked in the front gate, that's it. You knew you were in somewhere that had so much energy.
Right.
But
See,
people
that's
that built,
interesting because Mystical Love and Light, you've seen it from the other point of view. You've been a prison guard.
Right.
So
And I was gonna say,
for you to have seen that violence kind of or felt that violence firsthand, can you see why places like that would be so haunted?
well, for one thing, a lot of times, a lot of blood inside cells wasn't so much the officers doing it to the inmates. Even though that did happen, a lot of times it was the inmates themselves because they would be
yeah,
cutting and they
Right.
would be doing things. They would cut their own fingers off and stuff to try just for a while to get out of their cell, even to go to the infirmary.
Wow.
And they would self mutilate a lot of times and have blood all over. And if you did your walkthrough like every hour, every half hour, whatever, that's a lot of loss of blood because they keep an eye
They
when
know
you
you're
go
coming,
through.
don't they? Right.
Yeah,
So they'll be
yeah,
timing it, thinking, right, she'll be in 20 minutes. So if I cut myself now, right, okay. See, that's crazy, isn't it? Just to get out their cell for what, a day or
yeah.
two, probably.
Yeah, because you'd walk up there and there'd be a puddle of blood, and it would smell because human blood smells so different than like
Right.
animal blood. It has a horrible stench to it.
Got an
Horrible
iron
stench.
smell,
You
isn't
can
it?
just kind of start walking down the aisle and know what you're going to come up on because of the smell. So after the fact, when everything shuts down, like where she's talking, where everything shuts down after the fact, and there's a lot of spirits, I can imagine how much heavier that is also,
Right.
because like Drew said, I've been on the other side knowing what's going on, on when it was actually happening. Okay, I'll let you go ahead, Christine. Sorry.
So I just
No,
wanted to
you're
see from the
right.
other
You're
point of
fine.
view. I mean, think about that happening over and over. That's just one prisoner doing that in that cell. Think about all the amount of years that it's open, how many different people do the type of things. Then there's the fights. Then there's the people that's genuinely mentally disturbed. No wonder they're so haunted with all that energy. Sorry, Christine, on you
And
go.
no. This is not about me. This is about all of us. But with Pentridge, they didn't have barbed wire. They had razor wire.
Right.
So it's like little razor blades all around it. And people try. There was 57 successful escapes. So you can
Right.
imagine trying to go through that razor wire, what
Mhm.
people would have done to their bodies as well.
Yeah.
But ultimately, they've still got buildings there in Pentridge. This was a maximum security prison in the middle of suburban Victoria, suburban Melbourne. It was in
Wow.
a place. Was in Coburg. And like I lived in a place called Montmorency. It was about half an hour, 3/4 of an hour drive. And just down the road from this prison was a drive-in theatre.
Yep. So little friend Woodpecker.
Yeah, the woodpecker.
Yeah, your woodpecker's back. So yeah, there was a drive-in cinema just down the road from this maximum security prison that also had capital punishment.
Right.
So people were hung here. People were killed by other inmates in there. People escaped. A lot of the time, they could escape to that drive-in cinema and go into anyone's car.
Wow. That's crazy.
They had a lot. Yeah, they had a lot of things in there, and there were like with the capital punishment, with the graves, everything else there. The amount of energy in that area was palpable. It was just, it was next level, and it's still there.
That's it. I mean, I don't understand why people are not learning that these locations, obviously, it doesn't work doing tours in them. Think about the people that leave those locations with attachment, because those spirits are just waiting there to cling to any sort of life away from that prison. You get any thoughts on it, Sherry, sis?
What was that noise?
I don't know.
That sounded like a...
I know, I heard that noise too.
Like a machine, like a mechanical sounding thing. I'm wondering if my guys are coming down and communicating. I was just like, what the hell was that? Like, for me, like,
Here it goes again. That was not on my end.
What is that?
That's from here. It's gone now.
Can anybody watch and tell what mic that's coming from? I think it's your side, Sherry.
It is.
Yeah.
Not here.
I can hear it physically, but it's really, really light. But it sounds really loud on here.
Strange
So
how
let's ignore it before we get abducted. Okay, so there's
before we all go that.
Like literally, for me, I find
bring her back.
They do, believe me. They wouldn't hold me for long. Believe me.
As long as they drop you off back in the proper location.
For me,
300 mile away. Right, on you go, sorry, sis.
I think that I find prisons really interesting for that very reason, because I know that there are a lot of convicted there, but there are also a lot of innocent energies there as well. Like that, not everybody that's in prison has done something wrong. Okay, some have been falsely accused of things, and things have happened. I agree with what you're saying about the attachments. It is very risky going to them sort of locations, because you will have energies that have been stuck behind the bars for so many years that they've never seen the outside. They're going to want to see the outside, literally, even though they're a spirit now and they can do it.
Yeah.
Hello, everybody in the chat.
You're an energy that's been in that place for so long. You don't leave that place because your energy is consumed to it, isn't it? So they're going to still need somebody to come in there to do that. So I want to do prisons. I want to go and investigate some prisons, but at the same time, I don't want to go there, because I know the risks and stuff that could come from doing it. Hello.
I think it's just a crazy energy altogether. I mean, especially as well, you've got all the different people that fight in the gangs and things. Then you've got the people that's genuine mental health. It's just it's a time bomb.
But yeah, there's a lot. There's many of them, isn't there? There's many.
See, because the prison that I worked in, it wasn't just an ordinary everyday prison. It was the men's death row prison. So they had nothing to lose with what went on in there. So they didn't hesitate 1 minute to slice another inmate's throat or something, So it's all of that energy that just builds and builds and builds and builds in there. And like Drew, we were talking one other time that I would love to do some in prisons, but I'm not so sure it would be too safe for me if they picked up on
See,
You know,
that's
whether I work
interesting.
there or not, because you don't
Mhm.
have to even say you work there. It's like when we worked in the prison, we had our own way of walking or standing, because you're standing for
Yeah.
12 hours at a time, you know. And it's almost like standing at attention, almost like when you're in the military, even though I've never been in the military. So I would bet with the way that I would act in there, I would assume they would probably pick up on
Yeah.
it that I
Mhm.
that I had worked in one before. So I don't know
Yeah, I
if
would
that would
think
be
that.
too safe or not, depending on, even though it was
Yeah,
very fair, they hated a lot of the officers because the officers treated them wrong. So it's
Right.
almost like whether they picked it up, whether I was, you know, respectful or, on the
It's
other
part of the
side.
prison code, though, isn't it?
I
Part of the prison code that use are the screws and they're the inmates, and there's just no relationship. So it would
Mhm.
probably be the same attitude if you went in there.
I
I
don't think
think.
that they would have a different attitude towards you, even if you was a decent officer. Like an officer who is an officer to them, isn't it? It's somebody
Yeah.
that locked them away and kept them within them walls and can't go anywhere. Even if you was a good person, they're not going to see it like that. You know what I mean? Like they hold grudge, don't they? And like I said, well, you've got to remember, not all of them that were in prison, and some of them that went to death row, and things like some of those people were falsely accused. Some of them
Yeah,
didn't do anything wrong.
exactly,
So
exactly. Because one inmate that we had in there, he was in there for life, but they put him in there because his family was attacked, and being that
Right.
he had been in the military, so pretty much his hands was considered like a licensed, weapon and such. But when his family was attacked, he ended up killing one of the attackers with his own hands. They put him in prison for it, even though he was trying to protect his family. They said
self-defense.
they said since his hands was technically a licensed weapon, he didn't have to kill them. He could have put them down without killing them,
Right.
and therefore he was in there. He was in there for life, which was really wrong because he was protecting his family.
But that must
Yeah.
be really hard when you see people like that. You know they what they done was out of defence and things like that. And that's what I'm saying. Like you've got all of the hate, the evilness, and that, but you've also got the softer side, the ones that are sitting there that know they haven't done anything and they're going off to another place, like they're being wrongfully took, is what they're
Yeah.
what's happening to him. So you've got a lot of you've got that soulful feeling and you've got that scared feeling as well, like because nobody quite knows what death is, do they? Like they know it's coming. They know what it's going to hit all of them. But when it's
Hmm.
actually having your life physically took, and
And
the
is
way
the,
that
is
it
the
was done,
thought of
and
dying
the
in a place
electric
like that as
chairs,
well?
stuff like that, the electric chairs and stuff,
Hmm.
really horrible ways to be ended. You know what I mean? Like obviously, I'm not saying all of them don't deserve it. There are some really nasty people in these prisons,
Yeah.
and
I'd
that
be
And for
terrified
us,
if I died in a place like that. I'd be terrified that my soul was trapped.
well,
I
and
honestly
and
yeah,
would.
you have to treat everybody
True.
the same. You can't treat because he's a murderer and because he was put in there unjustly. You can't treat him any different. We're not in there to judge. We were in there for
Right.
no,
security,
yeah.
Yeah.
totally
Mhm.
security. So you can't play no favoritism one over the other, regardless of what they're in
No,
there for. It's total
yeah.
Yeah.
security, and then that's it. Christine, you look like you were fixing to say something.
There you go,
Okay.
Christine. Just
On
chime in
on
anytime.
No, that's okay. On Tuesday, speak to Bree when she was doing law in Year 12. She actually went to Barwon Prison, which is where a lot of the gangland murderers and everywhere are put. And Brianna
Right.
actually interviewed 3 inmates. So talk to her about that.
Will
And
do.
she actually works with someone who was a parole officer and worked in the prisons as well. So she would have been
Right.
good on today.
Yeah, I
Um,
know. How we get mixed up. But Brie is coming on Technically, it's Monday night in Britain, guys, but it is Tuesday morning in Australia. Okay.
Yeah, it's Anzac Day here for us, which is why Brielle had the day off work.
Right. Okay.
Um, but you can imagine with everything mystical, um, imagine building houses on top of the land that still has prison buildings on it.
Yeah.
There's a whole estate being built inside the walls of Pentridge.
That's crazy,
Wow.
isn't it?
And these people
Mhm.
That's
built their
gonna make an
houses knowing.
experiment.
No, they sold off the land, and these people built their houses in there knowing what it was.
Wow.
I wouldn't feel comfortable doing that. Like, I'm an investigator. I'm not scared of the dead, nothing like that. But I would
Yeah.
not want to be on a prison
No.
land. No way.
It's a
It's
matter
one
of
of the worst
respect.
places to build. Like, I've got an asylum down here that's been made into flats now. Loads of horrible stuff happened in there, and the people that live in them flats, the things that they say that they experience, that they've had like really bad attacks. You'll hear screaming, high pitched. You hear people. You can hear like chains where they were chained up. Like, they were like,
Wow.
"Wish we never brought the
We've
flat
we've
here."
got a hospital here
Yeah,
in Melbourne that has been changed into a hotel. Same kind of things.
yeah.
Mm.
And
It
I
still
had
give
it
me
with the
chills.
nightclub I worked in. There was a nightclub that I worked in called Mission. It was actually built on top of a graveyard, and they put all of the headstones at the side of the haunting that went on in there.
Wow.
Like, because you think about it, all these people coming in, partying, dancing over these poor people's graves.
Yeah.
Like, people would be there, and I'd be standing there, like, then they're like, "What are you looking at?" So I could see a man standing there, like, staring at you, like,
Mhm.
It's
because like
so
you're waking up, sort of thing. You know what I mean? Like,
You do that well, Sherry.
Yeah,
yeah,
sure.
that's what I don't like though, because I used to go there and club and stuff and that, but then I started working there as a bartender, and I used to do the cleaning at night, so I experienced it from all three
Right.
directions. So I would be dancing, and I'd see this spirit just come
Mhm.
past me, and so woo, we got somebody really peed off there. And then obviously when I started working there, and I really got to know those energies, I felt so bad for them because it was every single night without
Yeah.
fail. You know what I mean? And then at night when I'm cleaning, that was the most creepiest for me, because you're there on your own, and you've got the brooms, and you're going, man, you're cleaning, and you can see them walking about, and you're like, and my friend used to like hide in the toilet. She would not come out. I was like, come on, it's all right. They're not going to hurt you or anything. They're just a bit peed off that we
At least you can
dance
see them
tonight.
and tell her where they are to warn her. You
I
know?
did used to do that. Like, 'cause there was a few times, but I had to stop doing it in the end because it used to freak the hell out of her, because I'd go, he's there with you again. And she's like, Sherry, shut the hell up, because I'm
Get
running and
away.
you're here on your own. And I'm like, okay.
Well, I did a tour in one of the jails here called the Old Melbourne Jail, which was
Right.
another capital punishment jail that also had
Excuse me.
psych padded walls at the bottom. So they
Right.
had the lower level, there was about, I think, 5 or 6 cells that were for the mentally challenged.
Right.
Whether it be that they were arrested and they took a plea or whatever saying that they were mentally insane, so they couldn't be charged as a normal prisoner.
Right.
And the stains on those walls of them self-harming in there, even though they were padded walls, you could still harm yourself.
Yeah.
And I went, oh, I'll go and take photos there again. They've got the death masks still in cells.
What's that?
So
The death mask.
a death mask is a cast they actually take of the person's head.
Yeah.
All right. Right.
And they've got Ned Kelly's in there because he was hung, even though he was a prisoner in Pentridge, he was actually hung in Old Melbourne Jail. He was in, I think A division was the short-term prisoner cell. So if they didn't have room for you in another cell, or you were being hung or whatever, you were put in a short-term cell. So the first floor had the mentally challenged and just normal prisoners. The second floor had men as well as death row.
Okay.
Third floor was women and children.
My.
I didn't know anything about the third floor when I went there, and you've got to climb a metal ladder to get up on the levels. And I climbed up the ladder to go to the third floor, and I actually couldn't get up there. something
Right.
would not allow me.
Right.
It was just a whole. It was a different feeling, almost like having a massive anxiety attack. You couldn't breathe.
Right.
There was
I know
something
that
there.
feeling. Yeah. That's like being
Yeah,
the War Monument. It just was overwhelming.
I
yeah,
never,
it was. Go.
I never quite understood why they put like children into prisons and stuff like that. What a horrible place
I
to
If
know.
put
it
them in.
was, if
I
they were
know.
young children and still needed their mother, and their mother was arrested on a petty crime or whatever, even though it was a maximum security prison, they would put their children in with the mothers
Mm.
I couldn't do
because the
that.
father still
I couldn't
works
do
or
that. I'd be
whatever.
so scared something had happened to them.
Well, think about it. The olden days, they did put kids in the jail, even in
Yeah,
our
but if you think
country,
about it,
Sheriff,
all
for like stealing bread and things.
like the paedophiles and the people that have killed children and stuff that are in there, and they've got children in there. Like, it's just, you imagine
Yeah,
what might have happened there as well, like children being killed and abused and.
yeah.
Mm.
Some of our jails way back still had kids in it for stealing
There
loaves of
was
bread out the
there was
market.
jails here in England and
Yeah.
in Scotland and that used to put kids in there as well, like for just like because like you got a lot of poor families that couldn't like
I mean, think of
survive
that
without
fear.
nicking or something, and they would get sentenced to death for just nicking something to survive, and then
Yeah.
put the kids in there and kill them as well. And it's I've never been able to get my head around that. Never.
Yeah.
No,
Do you
well, it's
want to
not something
quickly
that
answer
they do
that,
nowadays.
Mystical? Do you want to quickly answer that that Diabolical Debbie said?
On what the jars.
Yeah.
Okay. First of all, I have a lot of stuff because I have a Etsy shop, so I sell a lot of my stuff on Etsy. But I've got there's dried fruit, seeds, nuts, herbs, different
You
oils,
need to check
different
her channel out,
powders.
guys.
Yeah, that I make actually on my channel. If you go way back into the playlist, I actually broke it down and went through most of, well, actually, I went through all of the shelves on what I have. I have more than what I had then also, and I just keep replenishing. I'll have like something up there, and if somebody orders on Etsy, I don't take it from there. I make a new batch for them and ship it out. So everything is made fresh when I end up shipping it out. But each section, and I have a section of essential oils, stones like crystals, leaves,
Everything is polished
roots.
herself,
Yeah,
guys. Most of it
everything.
anyway.
And if you
Yeah.
watch any of my videos, I show a lot of how-to videos to do certain workings, certain spells. I don't call them so much spells, even though I do sometimes. Most of the time, I'll just say workings because it used to be workings for people, but now I don't work for them. I don't do their workings for them anymore. I empower them to do their own and show them how to do their own. So that's what you're just seeing a small section. It goes
It goes right round.
the way around.
Definitely
Yeah.
check her channel out, guys. It's an amazing channel, especially if you do want to learn something about craft. Okay.
Yeah, because this weekend I'm gonna be showing how I think he's from France because I always have to hit translate to read
Right.
his stuff, and he was looking at one of the videos, and I have the doom oil in there, and he wanted
Right.
to know if I had a video on how to make it. So I told him I was gonna try to get to it this weekend, and show a video on how I make
Brilliant.
mine. So.
Yep. Okay, sorry about that and the interruption. I just wanted to get that out. Back to
Hey.
haunted prison. So did you ever see anything, Rochelle, when you were actually working in the prison then? Did you, as a sensitive, did you feel all that energy?
Yeah, and I could tell when things were fixing to brew, when things
Right.
were, when things were going to start up. Sometimes inmates would ask me questions and I would know where they were going with it. Like when we had an escape, 7 inmates escaped, and right away there was 7 of them. Right away we caught 6 of them. 1 of them actually got out of the grounds. The other ones, what happened was this: when they were running across the roof, the officers heard it sounded like horses running across the roof. So all the officers ran outside because we all knew what it was. Well, the 7 that escaped, they jumped off the roof through the grounds. They all hit the fence at the same time to climb over. But what happened was is they made a mistake, and when they all grabbed at the same time to go over, the fence came in on them. It came in on them, and all of us was right there. So we got those. Only one of them, the one that was running the very last, that was lagging behind. When it came back on the other ones, he went over. So he was the only one that made it over. So it took several days to finally find him, and when we did, he was already dead. Okay, so somebody took care of it while he was out. Well, one of the inmates, and I knew already what was fixing to stir, and how I answered was going to determine whether he was going to go off or not. What he asked was, and I had already known in my head what he was going to say. He said, "Are you happy that he was found dead like that?" And I said, "Well, there's a 50 chance that I was, and there's a 50 chance I wasn't. You pick which one you want." And I left it at that. So then he didn't know what to say because I already knew he was going to ask. Right. You know, and I left it like that, and I put it back in his court, and he just said, "Good answer." He turned around and walked away. Wow. Because depending on how I answered was whether he was going to go off or not, you know. But yeah, you can pick up a lot of times.
Did you see spirits and things? Did you see any spirits in the actual prison?
Not so much, like, you know how, okay, since I can see them, it was weird because while I was in there, I wouldn't see them. I wouldn't see any of them. Now, when I was outside the gates, like in the vehicle waiting for my time to go in or whatever, you could see all around the grounds. But while I was in there,
maybe your guys shut you off to it then because the energy's so intense, right?
That's exactly it. And I think my guides kind of put a shield around me so that I wouldn't see that. But if I were off of the grounds looking in, I would be able to see. But not once I was in there.
That would be a lot as a sensitive and a medium to see that, especially all the violence. Mm-hmm. Sorry, Christine, is there anything you wanted else to say? I cut you off a bit there. I didn't mean that. Sorry.
No, not at all. Not at all. It's all good. There's another prison story. We've got a prison here in Bendigo. Well, was a prison. They've now made it into a year 11, 12 secondary college.
Oh my goodness, it gets worse.
The walls. And their major theatre, which is called the Yolumbra Theatre, is actually the solitary confinement.
That's
all the cells are still there. They use them as...
Imagine the energy in that place.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've been there a few times. They have all their concerts there. They have... Yes, Cheyenne? Yeah. Sorry, Cheyenne, my daughter's just told me. They use the old solitary cells as storage.
Right.
And you walk over a glass, there's a round glass floor, for lack of a better word, and there's a spiral staircase, and that goes to a tunnel underground that goes straight to the courthouse.
Oh my goodness.
Under Australia is thousands of tunnels.
I actually thought Australians were quite spiritual and things and would have seen that places like that would need like cleansed and probably not lived in. Do you know?
The thing is with places like that, there isn't no amount of cleansing that's going to change those sort of places. There's so much residual energy and stuff there. It don't matter how many witches or whatever you take in there cleansing them places, they'll never be clean. Never.
All right. Come in here, Cheyenne. Cheyenne's going to say something to you, Drew.
Hi, Cheyenne.
Hey.
Hello.
Nice to meet
you.
They're saying hi, darling.
Hey.
Yeah. Stick one of these in. Thank you.
If you can understand me.
Yes, I can.
Did you forget, Drew? We have Scottish heritage.
Well, true. I always forget when I'm speaking to you.
She's beautiful.
Yeah, isn't she? Yeah.
Nice. Go.
So we're all, as students, allowed to go up the old watchtowers too.
Right.
The prison. Yeah.
Wow. See, that's crazy,
And-
isn't it?
And there's still a grave in the old courtyards
Which is on the school grounds.
Mhm.
Wow.
Wow.
of someone that was buried standing up, as they were not allowed to be laid to rest.
That's crazy, isn't
So yeah, they
it?
get.
So have you?
But
So
even
you
some
has
of the
your
ones
daughter been in
here,
the
they
tower,
get buried
Christine?
vertically.
Pardon?
Has your daughter? Have you been in the tower then?
Yes, that was part of my
Have
school.
Have you had any
Wow.
experiences? Have you seen anything while you've been at school?
No, but I don't like going upstairs.
I wouldn't
Right.
blame you.
It
I
was
think
a
I'd
double
probably be
story
running
one.
back down it. To be quite honest,
Yeah.
Yeah.
them sort of places, no.
Probably your guides and things warning you not to go up, isn't it? Because
Oh,
there's
they'll shut her off from that.
intense
If she doesn't
energy.
experience that. Yeah.
Yep. Crazy. I just don't understand why they let these places be lived in. You know?
Well, this is actually their secondary college, so it's their
Yeah.
year 11 and 12 school, so that no one lives in it. But the Alhambra Theatre, which was a solitary confinement, is actually used like a stadium for, like, we went and saw Constantino, a magician, in there.
Right.
They have rock concerts and everything in there because we're in regional Victoria. Nick off, cat!
Tower. Timber.
So they have concerts and everything in there, and it was solitary confinement. The solitary cells are still there. You can actually open them up. They're not locked. You can open them up and you can walk inside. They use as storage.
That's crazy. Especially when the college
Welcome
age
to a messed up Australia.
college age students are typically quite vulnerable because they're at that age. So to take that chance of attachments and things is just beyond me, honestly.
They used for our so you have at the end of the year, you have a week that you go and you experience the new school. They locked us in the cells.
Whoa! Wow! What?
Oh my
You
goodness!
tell me about that one.
During orientation
Oh, like
week.
an initiation thing,
Wait.
like an
They locked you
initiation.
in the
Oh,
cell.
that's crazy.
Oh,
Imagine you
occasionally
had
to be
gifts.
shared.
Imagine you were pure sensitive and had gifts, and oh no, that's terrible.
I think
Wow.
I would have gone
She
down
didn't
with
learn.
something
She
like
was
that.
still a shit. In high school, you were.
That's okay, ma'am.
So yeah, they made a prison into a high school.
Crazy, isn't it? That's just
Wow.
mental.
That's as bad as making them
They're
into
not living
flats.
in there. It's not Pentridge.
If people knew what went in, if people on the outside, we called it the free world. If you were inside the prison, everything else was the free world. So if you were inside there and the free world knew what was going on, I don't think they would do half of the stuff that they do after the fact if they knew what was going on. But not everything gets out, so they really don't have a clue when they want to build something, on a prison or on the yard or something like that. I don't think that they have a clue, or they wouldn't do it if they knew.
Yeah, but the thing is surely that they would have some sort of inkling, like, because prisons are not good places to be, are they? And not good things happen in it. So surely that would be enough to put someone off anyway, without even knowing.
Especially these days. Years and years ago, when these places closed down, you could see the point. People didn't know about cleansings and different things, but these days it's everywhere. You can go into the local supermarket and buy sage with a big instruction on it and how to use it. So even that, there's no excuse for places to be still haunted and things, if you know what I mean.
There's no excuse, but some people don't care.
Yeah, that's all about the money. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they don't care.
It is.
I can't get good enough
stuff like that. It don't matter, like prisons, hospitals, anything like that. It's so hard to clear the energy. There's just so much energy there that you're never going to be able to completely clear it. It's just
you would have to knock it down. It's just the simple way about it. Knock it down, make it into a memorial for what it was, to honour the spirits that died there. I mean, the people that died there honouring the fact that they died on that spot, knock the place down, honour the spirits that's there, tell them that they're free to go where they want, and probably 80% of them would move on. Maybe that a couple of them would stay just because that's the way it is. No, every spirit crosses over,
Well,
but
a lot
it's
of people
still a
don't.
chance.
A lot of people don't understand if a place is haunted and you knock that building down, they don't just disappear. Poof. They move. Some stay, some move into local other places surrounding. If there's houses around, guess where some of them go? And they can
Yeah.
cause havoc into those places too.
And that's
You
what
know,
I
if they're the
said.
bad ones. Yeah.
I said that on my last show about if you built new houses and stuff, like people didn't realise that it'd still haunt the houses and that, because it's not just the place, it's the grounds and everything as well. Obviously, what
Exactly.
Sister's saying makes sense, because obviously if you was making a memorial place, nothing's going to be built there to live on anymore. So if you was visiting it, it's a bit different. You know what I mean? But
Right. Where nobody can go in and.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unfortunately, our government makes them a historical site.
Yeah.
Or they can
Yeah,
do what
which
they
means you
want
can't
to
touch them.
orphanage.
The thing is, even if you make it into a historical site, even going into the place and just telling the spirits, look, you are allowed to move on. You are no stuck here. Even protect the place, cleanse it, put in crystals, protection stuff all around it. Keep it as a memorial, a historical place, but do the work to keep it safe. You know?
Our government don't believe in that kind of stuff because, as far as they're concerned, if you can't see it, it doesn't exist.
Right.
No, well, our
that's why they've
governments
kept
don't either,
gallows
to be
and
quite
everything.
honest.
Yeah,
I just
that's
think
why they've kept the
government
gallows in a lot of them, because people are curious.
Well, that's what's going to get people to go, isn't it? Is those gallows. I mean, that's
what
amazing
they're
that
thinking of,
they're
isn't
still
it? They're
there.
thinking of the money that people are paid to go to and have that experience. That's all they're thinking about. They're not thinking about the people that were in that place and what could happen to someone coming into it. They don't care about that, do they? It's not their.
Yeah, there's one place that we're going to go to in a place called Ararat. There's J Ward and there's also Arradale. J Ward was a prison turned into a lunatic asylum.
Oh, that would be the worst.
Yeah, that's one of the most haunted. Arradale, there's actually one of the groups from America, one of the teams that came out here and did both J Ward and Arradale, but they won't allow you to stay overnight. You've got to leave by 2 a.m. in both
See,
of
that
those
tells
places.
you something.
They won't allow you to stay for an overnight investigation. But we
probably don't want them there at 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, witching hour. Get them out quick.
Yeah.
We're going to do one in
Yeah.
an overnight
We'll all be like,
they say is one of the most haunted places in Victoria, which is called Beechworth Asylum.
Right.
And if you look it up online, there's quite a few investigation teams that have been there, and they allow you to stay overnight. And so we're going to do an overnight investigation there and hopefully go live. But we're on the wait list at the moment. Like Rhiannon's friends have been, and they've had photos with the group that they've had, and there's been people that weren't part of the group in period dress.
Right.
Looked completely like them. They looked like they were human, but they weren't. They were spirits.
See, not all these places are bad. I mean, don't get me wrong. The majority of the prisons and things will be bad entities there, but there will be things there that is good as well, as you say, you know. And you'll catch people in different, you know, because think about the different characters that's in jail.
I think people stay in prisons because a lot of people that have had life sentences or been there a long time,
institutionalized.
I
know people that's been in jail for no jail, that starts off with them being in care, and then they go for care to a young offenders, and then for young offenders to a prison, and it's all because being in care when they're young, because they get institutionalized and it becomes like a state of normal for them. So a lot of these places, it's just because that's where they fit in, you know.
And you'll see a lot, you'll hear a lot about that, won't you? Like if you've got these prisoners and people in prisons that have been there for like years and years and years, and suddenly they're getting released, most of them commit suicide because they don't know how to function on the outside. They don't know how to be. You know what I mean? They're
Or
not
they
used to that.
reoffend to get put back in.
They'll
Or
get
they do
out.
things. Yeah.
They'll get out. They'll walk up to the first cop that they see, hit him, and so they can turn around and go right back in again because they've been institutionalized for so long.
Yeah. That's what happens. They either attack again or they kill themselves. They can't cope. You know what I mean? It's horrible.
Yeah.
It is horrible.
There's people with addictions as well. There's people up here that'll get bad on addiction and then they'll say, I'm going to go to jail, I'll go do shoplifting or whatever to go to jail because it's the only way they can reform their life again and start afresh.
Because not only that, there's a lot of homelessness as well.
Yeah, that
people
as well.
Sometimes do petty crime because they've got a roof over their head.
Welcome, the new ones, everybody that's coming
Sorry,
in.
everybody that's coming in. I didn't notice because I'm on my phone. Welcome in, everybody. Remember, check each other out. Thinking of others. Hello.
Hello, darling.
Welcome.
Paranormal Search.
Welcome, Search. Sorry, my comments are behind, guys. My phone's playing up. Welcome in, Paranormal Search. Welcome in, guys. We're talking about prisons and experiences that these guys have had.
I've known a few people like this end that have been in jail. They've come out and within days they're back in because they've just done a petty thing, like took some stuff out of a supermarket, whatever. They know they're on probation. If they do anything wrong, they're back. Most of them do it. They get to go back. You know what I mean? So, like, I've had people say that, like, because there's people that I've known, and I was like, why do you keep going back to prison? We get 3 meals a day. We've got a roof over our head. We've not got no worry about anybody else coming.
They get medical.
They get
medical.
Get medical. We get all of that, which we don't get when we're on the outside. So
and they've got company, their friends.
Yeah, they've got company and people.
Because a lot of these people get out and they can't handle the fact that they've been in prison or wherever with a load of people, and then they get out and they're stuck in a flat alone, and then their mental health and things starts to play up on them. So they go back to prison. They go out and do something and go back to prison where they fit in.
They don't even make it out of prison, do they? If you think about it, some of them, they get told that they're actually going to be leaving and that they're going to be going, and they kill themselves in the prison. They kill themselves before they can even be took because they know they're not going to be able to survive it. Or
I know people that have been in prison and got out, and we have what's called Department of Housing here.
Yeah.
So if a prisoner's been in there and they come out, they get offered government housing to have a roof over their head.
You're my first member.
But most of the time, they can't get a job because as soon as an employer finds out they've been in prison, they don't want to touch them. So whether they're reformed or not, they've got no hope of having a good life. They're labelled.
Yeah.
It's the same here. It's definitely the same.
Unless they got connections once they get out.
Yeah, if you've got connections, but the likelihood of people, even if you've got connections, the likelihood of them taking you on if that's happened is very slim. You know what I mean? Like a lot of them don't have a life when they come out of prison. They could, like Christine said, they can't work because they've got a record and people don't trust them. And there's a lot of people like that. Like I believe everybody deserves a chance if they make a turnaround, but sadly, a lot of people don't see it like that in this world.
I know.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
See, that's the point as well. Back to the fact of the hauntings, there is actually people like that die in prison. So think about all the people that die. That's the evil people, and then you've got these souls that die that just really wanted to fit in somewhere. So you've got all that turmoil as well when you go to these places. So you've got to cleanse. You've got to cleanse and give the spirits somewhere the option to go somewhere instead of them feeling as if they're trapped forever. You know, it's
better than where they've lived.
But you know, and it's. Go ahead, Sherry. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Sherry.
The problem is with that as well. Like a lot of them wouldn't want to go because they don't know any different. They've only known that life. Like like I'm sure there's people that have tried to give them the option to leave. A lot of them don't want to because they don't know how to live out of that. They don't know what it's going to be like in heaven. They know that they've got to face what they've done, and they're worried about that, because it's like when we fall back on all the religion and the things we've been taught, that's going to always be in their head. But we're not going to go to heaven, and we're not going to get listened to because we've done bad, and that isn't how it works. You know what I mean? You are going to be listened to and you're going to be helped, but these spirits don't know that.
No,
I know. They don't want to go for that reason. They just want to stay where they are, because they, you know, they're not getting touched. They're just being.
I think that goes. I think that goes not just for prisoners; it's for anybody. They don't know what is beyond death. They don't know what's on the other side.
Yeah, hospitals. Or everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah, so they know what's here. This is norm. So what happens when you die? Where do you go? What do you do? A lot of people are more scared of what's beyond death than what's here, whether good, bad, or ugly.
I don't mean to laugh, Christine. Look at Sherry. There's a plane around her. Is that a spirit or a bug?
It's a moth, but it keeps coming to me, and that it's really weird. It lands on my nose. It lands on my nose and it sits there ruffling, and I'm like, hello.
Someone's trying to talk to you, darling.
Yeah, and I do.
You missed it, Drew.
Like moths and that are spiritual. The messengers.
It was a moth.
Well,
all right.
Sherry knows.
It lands on my nose. It lands on my finger. If I'm eating my food, it lands on the bottom of my fork, like up the other end. And if I'm sitting there eating my food, it'll be sitting there. I'm like, what are you doing? Go away.
Okay, sorry, Christine. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I was laughing at Sherry.
No, go ahead. No, that's fine. I was laughing
it's
just
never
with
normal
you.
when Sherry's on a panel.
And I put my camera off to have a smoke because it's YouTube's new rules.
Well, that's what I'm doing, but I keep turning it off.
Sherry, wait until Tuesday. Wait until Tuesday. We'll see if anything goes weird on here with Bree and I. Because generally when Bree's on, we have all kinds of interference happening. So don't worry, I must be the least of the issues.
It was my mistake with Bree. Bree should have been here, guys, but it was my mistake getting the times mixed up between Scotland and Australia again.
No, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. She's going to be on Tuesday. Well, Monday, Tuesday. So
technically, it's Monday night here. Monday night in Scotland. Monday night in Scotland.
It's Tuesday.
The morning in Australia and the evening time in America. So we'll get a big world around the world live again.
I was thinking on the prison, with all the deaths and everything, and then you have a majority of you have some that are shouldn't be in there, but majority of them there are. So can you imagine if they're already evil and mean, and with all the spirits, any bad spirits that's in there, negative spirits, can you imagine them like attaching to them and setting them off and causing a lot of the fights and stuff like that, making them go even more bonkers?
Yeah.
Sorry, Baldy Bonkers. Not that I was using your name, but yeah. And making them, more wired up.
Yeah.
And starting fights. Because sometimes you could just be, two inmates could just be sitting there watching TV in the break room, and then all of a sudden a fight breaks out. So it almost makes you wonder if it's them mentally, that's how they are. They fight, that's what they do. Or if a spirit also had something to do with, with starting it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I bet a lot of the time it is.
That was two inmates. They were several inmates was in the break. See, every cell has a TV on the floor. You have the 3 rows, the 3 tiers of, cells. And there's a TV that's like on the wall across from the cells that each one can have. Well, they have to pick, they have to vote the majority of who wants to watch what, like on the row. So you go down and you count what they want to watch. Well, there's also a TV in the break room, and there was some inmates watching Wizard of Oz out of all things. Oh, hello. Out of watching Wizard of Oz, and one of them got mad because he didn't want to watch it. No, because he wanted to watch it. They weren't watching it yet. Somebody flipped the TV. They started watching it. He got mad and started a fight and broke the other inmate's jaw where it was just like hanging down because he wanted to watch Wizard of Oz and the other one didn't.
Oh, wow.
Like,
See,
what a
that's
thing to
because
set
I've
'em
nothing else
off.
to argue about, isn't it?
Yeah, so it's like just for any little thing, setting them off, and they just go crazy.
Yeah, but they're privileges, aren't they? If you think about it, they're privileges because they don't get to do it all day. They only get to do it at certain times. So everybody wants something different, don't they? So it really makes people angry and that, doesn't it? So I can imagine.
Yeah, because if they want to watch it when they're on their tier, the officer working that floor has to go down, and each person, because there's 2 people to a cell, so each person has a vote, and you just write down what the number of whatever channel they want to watch, and then the one that has the most votes that's the channel that it gets put on.
Mm-hmm. See, a lot of our prisons here in Scotland are still Victorian prisons. It was only about 4 or 5 years ago that they actually
Maggie and Lasso
toilets. Welcome,
Jay.
everybody. That they actually got toilets put in their cells, and everybody got slop out money, it was called, because the Victorian conditions are actually now a crime against your human rights. So the people that were being imprisoned in Berlin and things that didn't have toilets in them got so much money from the government because they had done so much time in the prison and they were still having to slop out. Now they do have toilets in the full prison, but they didn't have it in the full prison up to a few years ago. So the conditions and things in the place is terrible as well. Think about that, having to do the toilet and things in front of other people, even with a toilet being there.
Yeah. Well, in the United States where I was at the men's death row prison, there is a toilet in each cell, which the 2 inmates have to share. But besides that, there's also a whole different section that the inmates are not in cells. They're in cubicles. And the cubicles are open, okay? And then on the back side of the cubicles are all of the toilets, all the commodes. So when they go to the toilet, I mean, anybody can see them because it's out in the open,
Right.
And even
even
us.
Dignity.
Yeah.
Your human dignity
they're all out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And here
but
we
everything
have our inmates have foxtail.
Sorry, Christine?
Our inmates have foxtail.
What's
Every
that?
cell has a TV, cable TV.
Oh, right.
So everyone in our prisons, they all have cable TV, they have gyms, they have everything, and they can go and work each day as well.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah, they have gyms and stuff here, too, and that's when they go out into the yard, they got all of their working out equipment and everything there.
Yeah, there is a few places like that over here that are like that as well.
Yeah, I think they've got like a central gym or things, but I think you need to be like earn the privilege to use it and things like that, I would imagine.
Well, some of our in Barwon prison, some of our people have actually taken parts out of the gym and killed other inmates with those parts.
Wow.
Barwon is our highest of high care, basically.
All our gangland, guys.
All our gangland murderers and that go in Barwon. That's our highest of high prison. That's our major maximum security.
Yeah, well, that's like here. It's where I worked at the men's death row prison, so that was the highest maximum security there was. And actually, I asked to be put in that prison.
Right, you're brave.
Nobody hardly ever goes in and asks. But I was like, if I'm gonna go in one, then you're gonna put me in the maximum security one because I know I can handle it. Which I did. It was hard. But that's where I was gonna go to.
Yeah. Well, somebody has to do it, don't
they? She came out with a completely different opinion of people. So
right.
I guess it depends. I guess it depends on where you go. And, I mean, I guess nowadays, too, crimes are a lot different.
The thing is,
way back when we're talking about with Pentridge and and the old
some of
Melbourne
these
jail and that.
people, some of these people that commit the heinous crimes, and I'm not talking about crimes against kids, but see some of the people that commit the heinous crimes, some of them are the nicest people you'll ever meet. William has a cousin, and I swear he's one of the nicest people you'll ever meet, and he actually defended himself and put a sword up through his own father because he was abusing him, and went to jail for it. And then now he's in prison because a man broke into his house and he reacted with a sword under his pillow, chopped the man's head off, panicked, chopped him up, put him in a bin, and now he's in prison for 30 years for it. And that's all because he's got mental health problems. But he's the nicest guy you'll ever meet. Fear.
And he would have owned up to that crime as well.
Yep, he owned up to it, you know.
And that's it. I think it's different if you own up to a crime. Obviously, it's different for self-defense.
Yep.
But there's so many people that will sit there and say they haven't done things.
There's a lot of people in jail because of mental health doing things like that to them. And I think that's why we've got places like Carstairs Mental Hospital that does take people in that's done things that's a wee bit beyond the normal crime, if you like. Because here in Britain, we like to get to the bottom of why people do that. And I think in America and places is so big that they can't take the time out to take people out of prison and work on them to see why they've done these things and come to a solution for the next person who shows signs of going down those lines, like maybe doing crimes that's a little bit more beyond the normal realm of people accepting, if you like the crazier crimes like he did. And I think that's a lot of problem is people need to start studying the cases in the jails and see why people go that extra mile.
Wickershire says, "Get it, Sherry, get it."
You won't
I won't kill it. I don't kill it. I believe in killing anything like that. But when it keeps trying to land on me, no.
Didn't say kill it. Just said get it, Sherry, get it.
Yeah.
If you've got someone breaking into your house, no one can sit there and say how they're going to react until it happens to them.
No.
I've been broken into. I've had my car stolen as a murder getaway.
Mm-hmm.
If someone comes into your house and you have children, you're going to protect them. You have a fight or flight. And as a parent and as a human being, you're going to fight if you've got nowhere to get out and someone's going to hurt you. You're going to try and hurt them first.
Yeah. That was because he was abused all his days. And then the fear of his dad made him do that because he was getting beat up.
Paranormal says, "Have a good night, everyone. Much love. Thank you for coming in."
Good
night.
And then the fear of that person breaking into his house just was over the edge for him, and that's just what happened. But there's loads of crimes like that, though, that people, unattended mental health, living in society, people do in certain circumstances overreact, and that's why, is because it's unrecognised mental health problems, because people just got on with their daily life coping, and other people got on with their daily life not noticing these people are not coping, you know.
And people don't realise too, if you're arrested for a mental health illness, if you plead insanity, people think it's better. Instead of going to jail, you go to a mental health facility. But people don't realise as well that if you're put in a mental health facility due to crime, you are involuntary institutionalised. So you have to be deemed fit to come back into public life and to, before you can be released. So your prison term could be 5 years, but your institutional term could be a life. If you can't be rehabilitated.
Yeah. Do you think a lot of those people with mental issues, you think it's actually mental issues, or you think they could have an attachment?
Well, there you go. It could be a case of that as well.
It could be either. I think we watch true crime stuff here because of Bree's job too. It could be either. I think people as a Norm, if you go from being one person that people have known all their lives to all of a sudden being, say, a violent murderer or a violent sexual assault or rape, and that's not who you've been all your life, absolutely, I would say there's been an attachment or there's something that has been involved.
To make it that way, yeah.
But it's really hard to say because, again, we don't know what goes on in people's lives. We don't know what's happened, like Drew's just said about what's happened to that person who's a sweet person but has been assaulted their whole life, whether it be sexually or physically.
Yeah.
So you get to breaking point and you're going to lash out.
Yeah. And
I mean, I was assaulted from 6 to 8. I was sexually assaulted from 6 till 8.
Right.
And then raped at 8 years old. And that person got off scot-free. It got investigated by the courts here. There was, when I was 16, it went to court. There was 30 of us that none of us knew each other, but we all had exactly the same story, exactly the same scenarios.
Right.
And he got off.
Wow.
He got off scot-free because there was no DNA evidence at the time because we were all too young.
That's crazy.
But to me, karma got him. He died from prostate cancer.
Well, there you go.
He died with the weapon he used. But that person in everyday life was a completely different person to that person who assaulted us.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So was it him? We don't know.
Yeah. Well, see, as sensitives then, Mystical, can you look at somebody in the prison and know they've maybe got an attachment?
A lot of times I can if the attachments want me to see them.
Right.
Like I have a friend that had 4 attachments. And I could spot one of them, but not the other 3. And I told her without saying any names, I said, take a picture of your husband when he doesn't know you're taking a picture and send me the picture. She said, why? And I said, because I can see an attachment, but I want to make sure. So she did. She took a picture when he didn't know she took the picture.
Right.
And because at that time, any attachments wouldn't have known that she was paying attention. So she sent me the picture, and I took that picture, and I circled 4 attachments, and I said, he has 4 attachments. He don't have 1 attachment. He has 4. So if they want me to see them, I can see them, but if I catch them off guard, I'll be able to see it. Like if I get a picture or something, then I can, I can see it.
So I was just wondering how maybe common it was to see like people walking and then their attachment with them. But yeah, if they can hide, they want to hide, they'll hide, won't they?
Yeah. Yeah. Now see, if the attachments are negative, they'll hide and they don't want me to see them. But if the attachments are family or friends, they're good, they're more there as a guidance, I can see those. Because they have no reason to hide. They have no reason to hide themselves from me, and I'll be able to see those. So, like I say, I can see people walking out. When I worked at a retail store, it was so hard for me not to tell people that they had somebody attached to them or describe them or, say who it was or whatever, because, you're working. You don't want to get fired because somebody reported you as being crazy. So you just keep your mouth shut.
Your job's to serve them, not tell them about spirits.
They'd be like, who in the world is that attached to you with their hair sticking up like this? No, I just like kept my mouth shut.
Well, that's like working in my job.
Who's that goofy
I'm a sensitive as well, so I can see most spirits.
Right.
And working in my job, we have death constantly.
Right.
We had in 2 weeks, we had 3 people pass away. We had someone pass away on Friday, unexpectedly. So I have death constantly.
Does your guides then not maybe step in and protect you sometimes if it's like too much going on?
No, because palliative care is my specialty. I love it.
Yeah,
I
because
love
you've
working
got a
with
knack
end of
for to
life.
help people like
I
that.
love
Yeah.
end of life. So no, but in saying that,
Because you're
excuse
strong,
me.
though, they must can tell that you're a strong person and can cope with. Whereas somebody like me, I would be in tears constant, you know, and they would have to come in and constantly protect me because I would be crying all the time.
They tell us we have to not get attached to our residents.
Right.
You can't not get attached. You're looking
Yeah.
after them day in and day out. You can't not.
Yeah.
In saying that, with as Drew, you know, with the recent passing I've had of a close friend of mine who was also a work colleague,
Yeah.
it has got to me this week.
Right.
And she passed of cancer, which was not a very nice way.
Yeah.
She was battling 4 different types of cancers.
Yeah.
So, I mean, when you have someone close to you pass, having then your residents pass does make it harder.
Yeah.
But in saying that, we have ones that don't leave. They don't want to because this has been their home for a lot
Yeah.
of their end of life.
Right.
We've got a girl in a white dress. She's actually a child. We don't
Right.
know where she's come from, but she's there. She's there all the time.
She probably just likes the energy used guys like the nurses or the carers. These have got such a caring nature and these are used to death and things and a lot of these are
Or just a
sensitive.
spirit
Well,
from
she's
another
probably comfortable around you.
Yeah, don't know. I've seen a few residents. One lady was in her life. She was very materialistic.
Right.
And after she passed, her family didn't clear out her room or get her belongings for a few days. And we saw her sitting in her recliner chair until her belongings were moved.
That's right. She left with her belongings, did.
Yeah, she wants to stay
That's
until her
crazy,
belongings are
isn't
gone.
it? Yeah, because you can't take them with you.
No, there's a few of us. I know of 3 of us at work that are all sensitive. One is a medium, and 2 of us are sensitives, and it can get very crowded at work.
Maybe that's why you have drawn to that job. Then it maybe takes somebody like you guys that's got a bit of understanding of the afterlife because you are sensitive and things to deal with that. Because it's a hard thing to deal with knowing that the person you're looking after is in the last days of their life. So I think you probably have to be a bit sensitive and a bit like you guys and can hear them and see them and things a wee bit, you know? What do you think, Mystical Love and Light? Do you think that a job like that you could do? You've been in the prison side yet, so would you be able to do it in the caring side of it if you like?
I wouldn't want to.
I wouldn't want either.
To. Right. I wouldn't want to because I am such an empath that even like I don't do funerals. Right. I don't do crowds. I don't do none of that. So like both of my sisters, they'll take, they can't take care of the very sick or elderly, stuff like that. I would not be able to do that at all because I would be a mental case because I would be feeling everything that they're feeling. It's bad enough when we're driving down the road and everybody that's passed away on the road in accidents and stuff try to get my attention. That's bad enough. So every one of them, I know where all the wrecks and where people were killed and everything because they try to get my attention. But I could not do what they do because I could not be around that all the time. I would just constantly be picking up all of these feelings and everything. I couldn't do it. No, I could not do it.
You do learn how to block it out.
Blast the person to do
it. Could you do it?
Huh?
Could you do it as a sensitive and somebody that sees and speaks to them?
I'm a little bit more than a sensitive, but
yeah, I know.
I've actually been a carer. I've looked after old people and people with mental health issues and stuff. So I've actually done that as a job, and I can understand what Mystical's saying, but then I can see where Christine's coming from at the same time as well.
Yeah.
Like for me, at times it would be overbearing, but I liked that about it because I could understand them, because I knew what they were going through. I was able to help them to
Hi,
go where they
Bree.
need to go. And a lot of the ladies and the gentlemen that I worked with at the time in the hospitals, when they get to like the end of their life, they kind of, their senses change. It's like they see a lot more things, and they were able to pick up that I was gifted. And they're like,
Yeah.
you'll help me when I go over, won't you? And I was like, what do you mean? They go, you're gifted, aren't you? And I'm like, how do you know that? They go, because we can see your aura. We can see it.
Right.
And I'm like, how are you seeing it? And they're like, we've got certain energies here with us that we know you see, because you
Right.
always acknowledge them when you're coming in, and they're showing us about you. And I found it, as well as it being really hard at times, especially because I did get attached to some of my patients. I got really close to some of my patients because it was
Buddy's back.
only me that they would let work with them. Like some of the patients in my hospital that I worked in
I wasn't sure if they'd hear it.
had certain mental health issues and stuff, and
Right.
they didn't like most of the people there. They were only attached to certain like workers, and a lot of them always used to go, I want Sherry.
Right.
And like they're like, what is the big thing with you and Sherry? But Sherry's just different to you. She sees
Yeah.
things to you, and
Yeah.
and they did, and like I most of my patients that died, I was in the room with them at the time because they wanted me in there. They did want me in there because they knew that with me there, they could go easier. And I did look after their bits, so I know that belongings and things like that are really important to them. So I would always make sure I looked after their belongings there till their
Yeah.
loved one came and
And I
got
was
it.
just thinking the three different points of view for you guys being no medium. I hate the word medium and things. I always just
I
say
say a
sensitive.
spiritualist because it's just so
Yeah,
much easier. I see
spiritualist
so
then.
many
I'd
things.
love to be able to see them and hear them and things. As of yet, I can't. I can feel them a little bit. But it just shows you though that not everybody can do that job, even if you are sensitive and things, because I couldn't do it. I honestly
And I've been
couldn't.
caught on
My hat
camera.
goes off to you,
I was
Christine.
actually caught on camera. I was caught on camera a few times by some of my people at the
Yeah.
because after some of my patients died, they would still be there. So I'd walk down, and it's
Did you
just
do
like every
palliative
noise,
care though, like Christine? Did you do the palliative care part? Did you do palliative care
I
like
used to
Christine
look
does?
after
Right.
them from when they got in there. Some of them weren't dying, some of them were there to die. So I would look
Right.
after them. I'd have to
What
bed
about
bath
now,
them
Phoenix?
and all them that sort of stuff. I was very close to them. I would like paint their nails, brush their hair to make them feel really lovely and stuff. I used to look after them really, really, really good.
It's
And
just that.
I got caught a few times on camera because I would still go about my day every day just as they did. And I was
Right.
seen a few times on camera standing at these doorways talking to the patients that had passed over, and they're like, who the hell was you talking to? Oh, Maggie was there. What? Yeah, she's still here. She won't leave. And she said, and she told me to make sure that you're doing your toad in the hole today, which is the sausage in the
Oh, the
Yorkshire.
batter.
She's gonna be in the room having it with with the other patients and that.
You still got to be sitting on her seat.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, Christine, have you ever had any of them follow you home then? See some of your patients that you have looked after, have any of them followed you home?
What's that noise I'm hearing?
Oh, for God's sake, it's my bloody phone again.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I remember last time. We will get used to that noise.
I'm just making sure it wasn't on my end again.
No, you had Woody.
Yeah.
Is it still there?
Look.
No, he's away.
No,
okay.
I had one person because she was very special to me.
Right.
She had family, but she didn't see them very often. And she came over from England. And she was just, she was very different. She was a very, very beautiful soul. And I actually She never had Christmas presents or anything, and we actually buy our residents Christmas presents every year. Staff choose residents that they'd like to give Christmas presents to, and they get opened every morning. So whether someone has family or not, everybody gets a Christmas present. And one year I have a friend who is an artist, and he painted a picture of ghost gum trees, and I had him frame it and everything, and I gave her that for Christmas.
Right.
When she passed away, her family gave me the painting back.
Right.
So she came home with the painting.
I was just waiting to say that bit. She came with the painting.
Yeah.
Cheyenne, that's the painting that's in your room, by the way.
Oh, don't worry. She was a nice soul, your mum said.
I know, she's. You know the ghost gums that you've got that were Eve's? Yeah. She's with us. I'm just getting looked at now. But yeah, she's like we already have spirits here anyway. This is an open house for anybody who wants to come. As long as they're positive. We have selenite above, so nothing negative can come in here.
Yeah. I genuinely think there's certain souls in the world that spirits are attracted to. And I definitely think a lot of the people in this community are, and you're one of them, because if you've noticed on your camera, there's something keeping going back and forward. Have you noticed that, Mystical?
No, but I do know that Sherry always has one of her spirits attached to her, because I always see that one behind her.
Because I see Christine's going back and forward.
Aura, because she's
That'll
around me a lot. And Darius. I have a lot of spirits here, but I'm like Christine.
It's always on your right-hand side.
And welcome anything in as long as it's positive. I'm not.
Is there any spirits here want to talk through the camera?
Listen.
It's strange because her woodpecker thing keeps going off every now and again. When you ask that, it just done a slight little thing.
Yes, and I heard it that time because normally I don't hear it. When you said that, I heard it because I never hear it. That's why I was asking.
Are you trying to communicate through Woody?
Drew?
Yeah.
Tell everybody about the recording you sent to me.
Well, do you see the healing prayers that we were doing the other night, guys? I've not even tell anybody this except for Christine. Well, I had actually, yesterday morning, I was just going through my apps and I turned on I think it was the Ghost Tube Vox. I was just trying it out and I was asking questions. And I asked in it if the prayers and things kind of went successful and things like that. And in the actual recording, it says Mike. And the impression you get listening to it is as if that Mike is trying to tell me that he helped me when we were all doing the prayer circle. I'll send you that. I don't want to play it because it does get a bit personal with names and things. So, but it's amazing because the spirits say Mike in it, as if Mike was helping us do it.
Oh.
For the people that don't know who Mike is, Mike was Mike the Naked Bigfoot, who was part of our community. He also was quite a close friend to some of us, and Christine and her family was one of those. He was quite close to Christine and her family. She spoke to him often. So that was amazing, the fact that he actually came through, or one of the guides had told us in the message that Mike was there helping us with the prayers. Amazing.
Yeah, we all cried.
Clear as day, Mike.
But,
amazing.
Did you read?
He's always around anyway. That's the person he was.
Yeah, definitely.
He's looking out for everybody.
Yeah.
Did you read Phoenix's deal? You know, I said I always see that one spirit behind Sherry on her right side, and Phoenix says yes. I always see the shadow on Sherry's right side, so she sees it also.
That'll be Aura. But has anybody got any questions you want to ask, guys? Do you want to ask Mystical Love and Light and Christine or Sherry any questions? Bearing in mind that they all can see and feel the spirits if you want to ask them anything. Also, Mystical Love and Lights worked in a prison. Christine works in palliative care, which is an amazing job to do, guys, if you want to ask any questions in chat and you want to know. Christine will be back on again on Monday night, along with Bree, our daughter, for more chats. I don't know what you're saying, Wickerside. Off-grid life, education, growling, building, teaching and explaining how it works. As we progress, we are ex-city folks, 9-to-5ers, now country bumpkins, and a use of part of... That's it. The more people that move to the country, the better, isn't it?
You do you for yourself a lot in the country. You learn how to do stuff, and when shit hits the fan, you won't be down on the bottom scraping. You'll be at one of them at the top, in a good way.
Yep. Is there anything else you want to say, guys, before we do go? We're going to go in a couple of minutes because... Oh, there's Living Histories, Mysteries coming in.
Hey, Drew.
Brother Drew.
Hey, Drew.
We're going to go in a couple of minutes, Drew, but it's been an amazing stream. You need to re-listen. It's just been so informative, honestly. We won't have any technical issues, Brie. I will make sure we won't. I will be making sure.
Yeah, that Woody
might
don't
not
come
be
back.
your end.
Maggie.
Well,
Maggie's asking. She says, "Mister, can you see? Can you see or sense any spirits attached to me? Are they benevolent? If so, actually, I don't sense anything. Since I can't actually see you, I couldn't tell you if there was one there that was showing up or not. But as far as sensing, I don't sense anything."
Yeah.
I found selenite to be the best thing in a home to ward off negative energy.
That's what Lisa told me the other night when I was on Ghost Squad Scotland and we were talking to Lisa Fry. That's what she told me was the best. My guides were telling me to take out when I go ghost hunting to connect more, to get better activity. So I'll need to remember that. Maybe you guys should do it as well when you're going out. So that's a good selenite. I never ever thought selenite would make a connection. But there you go.
Oh, it does.
I've got a selenite pendulum. And I have a bristly bluestone pendulum.
Right. I just usually always take out my tourmaline, my clear quartz, my smoky quartz. I never ever thought to take out selenite, but I'm going to try it.
Drew, let me show you my selenite. Hold on.
Okey-doke.
It's there again. Ooh, it's gone.
Woody came back for a split minute. See, it makes you wonder if it maybe is the spirits. That's weird, isn't it?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, just a couple.
Oh, my goodness.
I love selenite. It's a really
How many spirits do you want to talk to, women?
Absolutely, Sherry. I find selenite has a really, really good vibration to it as well.
It does.
Right.
It's got a very good healing energy as well. It's really, really good when you're down on that. I've got
and cleansing.
I need all the cleansing I can get.
I got mine from Chad and Linda from.
Yeah, I've got a lot of those because I have some on my shop for sale. Yep.
Yeah, I've got wands. I've got towers. My tower goes in our lounge room because it's a bigger one. So that goes in my lounge room.
Better put your link in the chat. Guys, remember and subscribe to each other while you are here. Mystical Love and Light has got an Etsy shop where she does do loads of witchcraft stuff, guys. Loads of pouches. Everything you could possibly ask for. Put your link in the chat, Mystical, and then they can go to your channel and check out your Etsy shop for there. Unless you've got your Etsy shop.
If they click on my any of my recent videos for the last, I don't know how many months or a year or whatever, and every one of them in the description box has the link to it, to the Etsy shop.
You'll have to show me, Drew, how to put this up on mine.
Sorry?
You'll have to show me how to put this stream up on my channel.
Oh, well, I'll send you the link. Flood down the computer. You went a wee
I
slide
was
there.
about to say, did you just fall down there?
It's no, I can send you the link for it. That it always
I
saves.
tried
and
with
then you can
Chris's
send
one
it
and it
over.
didn't work. It wouldn't load
Oh,
up.
did it not?
No.
That's Chris
I
for
don't
you.
know.
That's Chris for you. Are they talking to you, Sharon?
Yeah.
Oh, and Drew, remember when I said I'll probably have to start doing a lot of my paranormal investigations alone because two of my crew members probably wasn't going to come back? Well, I ran
Yeah.
into both of them the other day when they were at work, and they were like, "When are we going to go?" And
Brilliant.
I said, I pretty much already figured I wasn't even going to invite y'all anymore because you weren't going to show up. And they're like, no, we are, because their kids are almost out of school. So
Alright.
they can have their husbands watch the kids while they go with me. So she said, we don't have to worry about the kids, getting up early or them staying out to have to get the kids up early in the mornings and stuff like that.
Right.
So they said, no, we're going to. So it looks like I've got my crew back again.
Brilliant. Good
So,
stuff. Because the season's getting better for everybody to start going out.
Now
Honestly,
all
it's
of
going
this,
to be good.
like all of this week, it's for the lows are going to be in the 30s and 40s, so it's still freaking cold. But in the
Yeah.
daytime, it's warm. But we like to do it at night, and then it's cold again. So that's what we're waiting on, the temperature to change to where, we don't want to go out and be a popsicle. We want
Well,
to be
that's
able to
it.
be comfortable, and when we do our investigations. So, but I just
That's
wanted
it.
to
You
throw
want to
that in, so they're going to be able to start doing them with with me again. And of
Yeah,
course,
you want
Lee's
to-
always my my security, my van security.
You want to have a big team. I mean, usually when we go out, it's me, Chris, Alan, and Liam sometimes comes with us. Or if I'm not with Chris and that, it's usually me, Liam, William, and sometimes Michelle. But if I'm just going out here, I like to just go myself. I just go around.
You're like me. I go on
Yeah.
my own.
I think it's
That's
because
one
I
of my
was brought up here.
selenites.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Oh, I like that.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's nice.
Pretty.
Yeah.
That's my selenite plate that I keep my pendulum on.
Right.
Oh, cool. Very nice.
See, that
Pretty.
selenite plate would be good for spell work because you could put it there with your herbs and things on it with your other crystals
Well, it's
around.
got
That'd be a good
the
wee
Well, it's a
pentagram in the
cleansing
middle.
thing,
work.
isn't it? Selenite for cleansing. You can put it around anything.
Yes,
So yeah,
yeah,
really
yeah.
good spells.
And that's why I have my big long ones, because I use it for a lot of cleansing. So instead of taking everything down, I can get that and I can sit it up on what I need. If I'm going to put something on my altar to be charged on my altars, then I can add the selenite stick and lay it across it, even up on top of the altar.
Yeah, that's what I do. And I walk
Yeah,
around
I
my
keep
house
mine
as well
upstairs on
when
my
I'm
stand
staying
one.
with it.
Yeah.
But I don't think I've got any up there. No, I've not got any in that one. I'll need to get a bit. I've got my tower up there and my arrow, so I'll maybe bring my arrow down here. Well, guys, it's been a great stream tonight. It is 2 o'clock in Britain, I'm afraid, in the morning, so I'm getting a bit tired, but it's been a pleasure talking tonight, honestly. I could talk for hours.
Yeah.
But
Thank you, everybody, for coming in. Don't forget, everybody, subscribe to everybody.
Absolutely.
All of us always need new subscribers. We're trying to hit our goals,
Yep, definitely.
Drew, yes, and Drew, check out Drew's shop too, because she's got monetized and got everything set up. Y'all join in and
finally.
order some stuff from her.
Yeah.
And
Iron ordered a little bag. Iron Fire ordered a little bag.
I saw
Paranormal
that.
Search is my first member. Thank you, Paranormal Search, for being my first member. I'm blown away.
That's great. That's great.
And remember, guys, check out the channel on Monday night. We will be talking to Christine again and her daughter Bree. And then what are we doing during the week, ladies? Are we going on your channel on Tuesday night, Mystical?
Yeah, we're going to be talking about anything like spiritual stuff, like a question and answer, anything anybody wants to ask. We'll all be able to know. Sherry, you're invited to make sure you come in too.
Yep.
Yeah. So it'll be Tuesday, 5 o'clock my time, 9 o'clock,
9
5,
o'clock
6, 7, 8,
UK
9.
time.
No,
Yeah,
4
UK
o'clock
time.
my time. You're 5 hours ahead now. 4 o'clock my time, in it?
Yeah.
No,
And then
do you want to be at 9 or 10? I think we were doing it at 9 for Sherry.
9 for
I
9 for
I
yeah.
don't mind what time it is. I'm awake all night anyway, so it don't really bother
Because
me.
October, in case October wants to come because she's got work next day, it's usually why we do it
So
at
9.
9.
Okay, so it'll be 4 o'clock my time then. 9
Right.
o'clock your time, because there's 5 hours now because y'all had your change in time a while
That's
back.
right. Yep.
Okay,
And
so
then
we'll
we've
do that.
got
And
Post Squad on Wednesday again. But definitely check out all the channels, guys, especially
Yeah.
everybody that's in the chat. Check out each other. That's the most important. And Paranormal World Investigators done a live just before me tonight. So check out all that, guys. There's plenty on everybody's channel for people to watch. Just keep
Yeah, I
supporting
am
each other.
uploading those videos because I did actually record them as well because I knew that the StreamYards would be quite light,
Yeah.
so you wouldn't have been able to see the colouring. And my spirits keep shouting at me saying, "We're going live this week as well, more spirit box." So I've got no choice. So yeah.
Oh, that was amazing last week.
Yeah.
The ones that didn't check out the live week that Sherry did last week with the spirit box when we were all in, that was crazy. We had Billy coming through, we had Sherry's grandpa come through, we had loads of different spirits come through. Honestly, it was
hey,
amazing.
welcome in, Iron Fire Horse. We're shutting it
Welcome,
down and you're coming
sis.
in.
Yeah, we're just going.
Yeah, no, check
Christine, have you got a channel? Have you got a channel or anybody that you want to promote while you're on?
I haven't got one, but I want to get it up and running. That's why I want to start putting these ones in that I'm on. But when we start doing our investigations in Beechworth, Jay Ward, Arrowdale, we'll put all those up.
Keep an eye out for that then, guys, because I'll promote it for her. We'll push it out.
Yeah, no, definitely, yeah.
Yeah, no, I mainly watch like Golden Bonkers or Ghost Squad Scotland, Sherry, Mystical, you.
Yeah,
The only other
Christine is one of the family, guys. It's like sitting here talking. It's like having a sitting like in a normal day, just sitting talking to like your friends or your sisters, because we're all just in every chat and every live stream together. So you get to know each other, don't you? What you like and things.
It'll be nice when you can actually see my chats.
Well, that's it. I'm getting onto YouTube. I don't know why I cannot see your comments now. I'll need to go in and have a look.
Yeah, well, that's why I contacted them, and they said, because you now can't see me on other ones, I've been muted from somebody.
From my channel.
Yeah.
But, Christy, you know what I was telling her is a lot of times, like, on our phones, and I'm thinking you got blocked by somebody, any of us, could be me, I don't know. But what I'm saying is because a lot of times when you click on, you know, like if you're blue and you click on somebody else's channel, sometimes it pops up right here, block or whatever. And if you don't pay attention to that and you click on something and you lay your phone down or it comes up and then you pick your phone back up, your hands automatically can bump any of those.
Absolutely.
That's true.
Yeah.
But I'll have a talk to YouTube. The good thing is when you get monetized, you get access to a chat with YouTube constant, so you can actually talk to them anytime you want on a live chat. So I'll need to talk to them when my PIN number comes in.
If it has, though, they'd be able to see it.
Yeah, they'll be able to fix it.
They couldn't tell me. Yeah, they couldn't tell me because it wasn't my channel.
Yeah.
Right.
Because I don't know, I couldn't tell you how many times I've picked up my phone and it's come across with that, and I'm like, oh shoot, because you know you can pick it up, and if you hit it, you don't even know you hit it.
Well, my partner William. Willie sits with his phone like this, falling asleep, and I keep saying to him, one of these days you're going to go live on TikTok or you're going to go live on YouTube and you'll not even know you've done it, because he sits there and falls asleep with his phone in his hand.
And see, and I always had a habit, because you know how Velvet was always with me constantly? Yeah. And a lot of times if I laid the phone down, and sometimes I would make a point to tell her, don't step on my phone, because I never know when something comes up. And that's what I'm
You know you're
thinking.
live.
That's what I'm thinking with Christine. One of us has hit that without
Maybe.
knowing we did.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
But the
maybe.
thing is,
So,
It's all good.
it's
As long
easy.
as I can see your comments again.
She wasn't being seen on Sister Drew's channel. She weren't being seen on my channel, which was really weird as well.
Yeah.
but she could be seen on mine.
Yeah.
With
now,
Drew's
I can
other
see her now.
profile, when Drew uses her other profile, she can see me.
Yeah, I can see her with every other profile except my Drew's Paranormal.
Drew can't come into my channel on her main channel, but she's not blocked. I've looked through everything. And, but I can see her on her.
See, I think somebody's had me for your channel as well. Yeah. Then what's happening with me with Christine, I think is happening with me with you on your channel. So if I get it sorted out with Christine, I'll tell you how to do it, right?
Yeah, no, that would be good.
But
right,
yeah, that's what I'm thinking. So okay.
That's okay. That's what you were going to say.
No, well, I was just going to say, I would bet that is what's happened because I've seen that where it's popped up so many times, and I'm like, holy crap! I hope I've not ever hit that because I don't know,
It probably would have been an accident.
But if it was on, it wouldn't have happened on my channel because you can see her on my channel. I can see her on my channel. But if any of us did it, if any of us that was moderated on yours and done it, you would think you would be able to see the list of who got blocked.
Exactly. Yeah, I know. I don't know why I can't see it, guys. I'll figure it out, but I'll definitely sort it.
Maybe Christine needs to change her name or something and then
No, I am not having it.
I did. I actually did. Enough.
But I don't think that's fair. I don't think you should have to change your name and things. Yeah, because YouTube can't fix it.
Yeah, because I had it changed to putting what I normally get called, Chris, in brackets. So I did change it, and it still didn't change that.
Because it's the actual IP address, though, isn't it? It's the IP that matters, not the name. Right, okay, everybody, I will see you all soon, and blessings to all. You can say goodnight now, guys.
Okay, Drew, are you reading what Fire Iron Horse put on here real quick? Because it pertains to what we're talking about. Because she said, I made my that.
I made my Iron Fire Horse 420 channel because only the first letter of what I wrote would appear in chat. Took months for it to correct itself. Oh, wow.
So...
Well, I'll definitely be asking YouTube to fix it for me. That's what they're there for, really, isn't it? Is to help you with anything you're stuck when I can't see it anywhere, honestly. I've been through everything on my YouTube channel. I cannot see how Christine is blocked. So YouTube will fix it.
I've looked as well.
Yep, they'll fix it.
Everything.
Right, okay, Christine, it was a pleasure talking to you, sis. And I can't wait to talk to Bree, honestly. Our wee Bree.
Awesome show.
Look forward
Thank you, everybody.
Blessings, everybody. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.